grab a snack, grab a drink, settle in because this is gonna be a long one. Hey book besties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be rounding up my June reads and my July hopefuls. This is one of my favorite videos that I get to do, so I am just so excited to dive into this. I have actually a lot to cover. I really want to dive in deep on what I plan to read and what I read last month, and just all the things just get really chatty, and I'm very excited because I had so many great reads in June and so much lined up for July that I'm very excited for. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around for more book content. I love sharing reading roundups like this one, book reviews, book recommendations, unboxing videos, just all the fun bookish things, so make sure you're following along. So in June, I ended up reading 12 books, which is I think like the most I've read in a single month all year so far. Last year I was probably reading around 13 to 15, so this is more on track with what I was doing last year, but this year my goal was to read a little bit less. Still, I ended up reading a lot of books, and I still had time for other things that I wanted to do, like writing, which I've been working on. First, I want to round up the books that I ended up reading for Pride Month. I had a pretty big stack for my Pride Month reads, and while I didn't get to all of them, I did get to a good chunk of them, and I read some really great books. I figure we might as well chat about that first. I read Last First Kiss, and this was phenomenal. I gave this book 5 stars, and I just absolutely loved the relationship between these two characters. This was like a friends to lovers romance, sort of like workplace vibes too, and the banter between these two was so good. Friends to lovers is truly one of my favorite tropes, and this was a prime example of that. I just really loved the relationship between these two and how they took their friendship and made it into a relationship. It was really beautiful. But also I really enjoyed Jordan. The story is told in Jordan's point of view, and I loved getting to know his character because he was so funny but also so relatable, because he had a lot of anxiety and perfectionism that I could definitely relate to, and he was such a great time. I truly cackled out loud multiple times throughout this book. I did also get the audiobook from Libro FM. I'm part of the influencer program, and I was so excited that it was one of the choices. It was one of the choices in May, so I snagged it, and I was very excited because I've been wanting to read this book and I was waiting for the audio to come out, so it really worked out. And the narrator did a fantastic job of really bringing the humor to life, because the words were funny, but the way he said it made it even funnier, so I really loved that. I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care. This one has been on my TBR for far too long, so I was very excited to get to this, and let me tell you, it totally delivered. I gave this one 5 stars as well. What I loved was this story it's a series, and it's following 3 friends. She's one in the friend group, and she is the stepsister of one of the other women in the friend group. So it follows all these women. And when I tell you, I was a couple chapters in, and I was like, the vibe of this book is exactly what I love in a story. And I knew I had to read the rest of the series, and I ended up just ordering them because I didn't have them on my shelf. So I have Astrid Parker Doesn't Fall and Iris Kelly Doesn't Care. And I'm so excited to get to these because I just loved the world in this book. The relationships, the friendships, it was so freaking good. And of course, the relationship between these two was great. I just had such a good time. This was my first book by this author, and I will definitely be reading more because I just loved her writing style. And I will say that I did do an immersive read with this one as well, and the audio was fantastic. And then the last Pride romance book I read was Pretty Like the Wildflowers. I actually just finished this. This was my last book I finished in June, and this was so cute. It was a cowgirl romance, which was so fun because I love cowboy romances, so I knew I had to check out one with a cowgirl, and it was so cute. I will say that this book, one of the FMCs has anxiety, and the representation of that was so well done. As somebody with anxiety, I really appreciate that. And it was just handled so beautifully and so realistic. And I just really appreciated that. And I also loved the way the other FMC responded to that and how she really cared about taking care of her partner in this book. It was so beautiful. I really enjoyed this one. And I ended up giving it 4 stars. And then last for my Pride Month reads, I read If You Tell a Lie. I kind of picked this up on a whim because I knew I wanted to read a Lucinda Berry book for Pride Month, but the one that I had originally chosen, I read in May because I read it early. So I knew I wanted to pick up another one, and I decided on this one because I had it on my summer TBR. So I was like, hey, why not knock it out at once? So I loved it. This one follows a group of 4 friends who had gone to camp together in the past when they were teenagers, but something happened in the past that's haunting them in the present. I love stories like that, but I also love a story set on a camp in the summer at a lake. And this just had it all. I was so gripped. I ended up reading this, I think, not in one day, but I think like across 2 days. It was so freaking good. I did an immersive read with this one as well, and the audio was fantastic. There were 4 female main characters in this one, and they all had their own POVs, their own narrators, so it was really easy to keep track of everybody. I loved it. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I highly recommend it. Definitely add this to your TBR for summer. So good. And now into all the rest of my books that I read for June. I read Rumors and Whiskey. I actually got an ARC for this one, and I was so excited because I absolutely love Victoria Wilder's writing. And this is the first in a new series called the Whiskey Women series, and I loved it. Like the family dynamics in this one are so good. It's following 3 sisters in this small town in Tennessee, and they make whiskey. Well, one of them does, but the rest of them like work at a bar, and there's like another family business going around that the grandmother and the mother are part of, that the oldest sister, who is the main character in this one, kind of deals with and gets involved in. It was so interesting. I loved the setup for this whole series, and I cannot wait for the rest. I had such a good time with it. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I picked up Trope Sick this month. This was one that I was seeing all over the internet, so many good reviews. It released in June, and I actually got the audio from the Libro FM Influencer Program, so I got to do an immersive read with it, which I was very excited about. And I really had high hopes for this. I really, really did. But I started like listening to it, and like honestly the first 30% was so good. I was so excited, so invested in the story, and then it fell apart. I loved the setup for it. I thought that, you know, the characters were really good for each other. Like I was interested to see like they had some past like issues going on that we were learning about and all of that. And it got to a point where the relationship felt so manufactured, like it didn't feel real. I couldn't get on board with it. And then by the end, it just like, I was not on board with this couple at all. And the ending, I won't say anything because it would give something away. It was horrible. I don't know why that was how it ended. I thought it was ridiculous, to be perfectly frank. So I ended up only giving this one 2 stars, but if you're interested in reading this book, definitely try it anyway, because there are a lot of people who really enjoyed it. I unfortunately wasn't one of them. I will say though, the narration was done phenomenally, especially the female main character, because this is a dual POV story, and the female main character, the narrator was so good at emoting this character's feelings. I like could feel it so well. Like it was really, really well done. And that's another reason why I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't enjoy the story, because the narration was so good. I picked up The Daisy Chain Flower Shop. This is the 6th book in the Dream Harbor series, which I love. I love the Dream Harbor series so much, and I've been wanting to get to this for a while. And I kind of picked it up on a whim because last weekend I had gone away and I got so badly sunburned, and so I was just in pain and I wanted to read, but the other book that I had started was sort of like a more serious read and one that required a lot of like mental energy. And I was like, I just need something easy to read that I don't have to think about a lot, that I can just enjoy. I picked this one up and it was the best choice. It was exactly the type of book I needed to read in the moment, and I loved it. I wasn't sure what I was expecting, because this has characters we sort of meet in the last book, and I didn't know much about them. Wasn't really like excited about reading their story. Like I obviously know I wanted to read it, but I wasn't like chomping at the bit to get to their story. And I don't know if that's why it hit so good for me, but I loved this. We're following a woman in Dream Harbor who runs a flower shop. It's like been inherited from her family for years. And she has ended up having a curse on her because a couple of the couples that she provided flowers of the wedding for got divorced. So now people think she's cursed. It was so good. I love these characters so much. Daisy was so relatable, so sweet. I loved the main male character in this one. I think his name was Elliot, yeah. And he was so great. I just loved their relationship together. They did like a fake dating trope to kind of, first of all, help her break her curse and to help him get his mother off of his back. It was so beautiful. I absolutely loved it. If you've not read the Dream Harbor series, I highly recommend it. This one, out of all the 6 books, is in my number 2 favorite spot. Oh, so good. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I picked up on a whim Summit Lake. I was just wanting something easy to read that I had like an audiobook for, and this one had the free audio with Kindle Unlimited. I was like, this is perfect. And of course, it's like summary, which I am eating up right now, and it was phenomenal. I finished this in one day. I like started the audio when I went to run an errand in the beginning of the day, and just by the end of the day had finished it. It was so good. This is my first Charlie Donnelly book, and he was one of the authors who I was really wanting to read in 2026. So I was very excited to pick up his book, and it totally delivered. I loved his writing. It was so good. This story follows a woman who was unalived, and you're not sure what happened. And you're following like her past story about how kind of like what led up to her unaliving, but then you're also following a journalist in the present who is looking into this woman's unaliving. And it was so good. I was gripped the whole way through. I loved the way he weaved like both stories, both timelines. It just made it so intriguing to want me to keep turning the pages. I mean, I read it in a day. It was great. I'm so excited to read more of his books. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. To continue with my summer reads, I picked up Summer's Never Over. This was my book of the month pick in June. I was so excited to read this one because this is an author who is local to me, who I will be meeting later this month. And let me tell you, this had everything I like in a thriller. It was set on a camp at a lake, which we mentioned before. I already love that. And it was so well done. Similar to a lot of stories I read, I just love this type of thriller where it's like something happened in the past, they're dealing with it in the present, and you're trying to fit the pieces all together to see what happened. And that was what happened in this one, and it was so good. The twists in here were phenomenal. Things that I did not see coming. I just love when a book does that. And like the atmospheric vibes, the summer vibes were so good. This is one of my top reads of the year so far. My favorite thriller I've read this year. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars, of course. I'm so excited to keep reading more of her books. This is a debut novel though, so I'm a little like perturbed that I don't have a backlog to read because I want more of her books desperately. For my local book club this month, we read Kin, and I was so excited about this book. I'd heard such good things, but I did not like this. I really, really wanted to. The premise was so good, but the execution just did not work for me. It follows 2 women from the Jim Crow era, and they both had lost their mothers in different ways. One of them was unalived, the other one abandoned her daughter, and so they're both kind of dealing with that in different ways. And you're following both of these women throughout when they leave the town. So one goes off to college, the other one goes off to search for her mother. So they're living different lives. And it just, I don't know. I feel like the story was just very boring. There wasn't a lot happening, and it felt like a lot of being told things that were happening. And I just did not find myself wanting to pick this book up. I ended up only giving it 2 stars. I just wasn't for me. I picked up The Divorce. This is Frida McFadden's newest book. I love her books so much. Knew I had to pick this one up, and it was not my favorite. I won't lie. I love Frida McFadden's writing. It's like so bingeable. You're like flying through the pages. It's short chapters. It's great. This story, it felt like a drug for most of the book. Like it took probably till 70% for like a plot twist to hit that made me like, whoa, what's going on here? I need to know what happens. It just wasn't the best. I mean, I don't have big expectations for Frida McFadden books anyway. Like they're usually just fun and whatever, but this one, there was so much going on in the first 70% of the book that wasn't all that interesting and just got so kind of repetitive and frustrating, I guess. So yeah, not my favorite. I ended up giving it, I think, 3.5 stars, maybe 3 stars. But yeah, if you're looking for a quick thriller read, it's great. And I will say that like, if the beginning part of the book hadn't drugged so much and hadn't felt so like blah to me, it probably would have been a 4 because like the twists towards the end were so good. I was like totally invested when that stuff happened because I was like, I need to know what's going on here. So yeah, 3.5 stars, maybe 3. I can't remember. Anyway. And last, I finished Death on the Lanai. This is the second book in the Golden Girls Cozy Mystery series. I got this as an ARC. It released in June, and this was so cute. I am a huge Golden Girls fan, so I was very excited to get the ARC for this one. And it's so, the author does a fantastic job of staying so true to these characters. Like, it really feels like you're just watching another Golden Girls episode, or like a Golden Girls movie. I really enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 stars, and if you're a Golden Girls fan, you've got to check this one out. I will say that I liked the first one in the series better than this one, but I still had a really good time. Now let me round up my top 3 reads from June. In the number 3 spot is Last First Kiss. Like I said, I just had such a great time with this one. I love these characters so much. Number 2 is a tie because I couldn't pick. It's The Daisy Chain Flower Shop and Delilah Green Doesn't Care. They were both so good. I loved them. Very similar, like small town vibes and like those just like atmospheric vibes that I love so much. It was so good. And my favorite read from June, Summer's Never Over. I just loved this story so much. Like I said, it's one of my top reads of the year. Now it's time to round up my July hopefuls. So this year I've been really trying not to make too big of a hopefuls list or monthly TBR, just because last year I felt like I was feeling restricted in my reading because I would make these big lists. I would get disappointed when I didn't reach them, or I just was wanting to read other things and whatever. So I wanted to like really lean into more mood reading. But I will say that this month is a little bit different, and I'm actually really excited about what I have lined up for July. So let's dive in. So first of all, I did this little series in like middle of June where I had my audience pick my July TBR. I had 5 different categories, 3 books per category, and I had people vote on which book I should read. So I rounded up all the votes from TikTok, Instagram, and here on YouTube, and these are the 5 books I ended up adding to my TBR. First was Cowboy Romance, so I will be reading Cowboy Casual. I'm so excited about this one. I've heard such good things. I have the audio to do an immersive read, and I cannot wait. For an emotional read, the winner was Before I Let Go, which I am very excited about. I was really hoping this one would win because I've been wanting to read this story so bad. It's been on my TBR forever. I have not read a Kennedy Ryan book, so I cannot wait. And I actually did get the audio of this one to do an immersive read. Audible had like a 1-day sale or something on this one, so I snagged it because I've been eyeing the audio for a while. It's never gone on sale, and it's not available on Libby, so yeah, I'm very excited to dive in. The thriller pick is 20 Years Later. Very excited because after reading my first Charlie Donnelly book last month, I'm excited to dive into another one, and this is one that's been on my TBR for a while as well. For dystopian, To Cage a Wild Bird was the winner, and this one was like kind of like neck and neck. Conform was one of the other ones, and I secretly was hoping that one would win, but I'm still very excited to read this one because I've heard such good things, and I mean a lot of people voted for it, so we will see. I feel like this one is probably going to be most similar to The Hunger Games, which I loved because that's what I've heard from a lot of people, so we will see. And last was a historical fiction book, and the winner was Junie. I'm very excited. I think this one is perfect for this time of year too, so I cannot wait. I've heard such good things about this one. So that's part of my July TBR. And then another part is I am actually going to a book event later towards the end of this month, and there are a couple books that I want to read by authors who will be there, so I want to make sure I read them before I meet them in person. So first up is A Love Letter to Whiskey. I actually met Candy Steiner when I went to this event last year, and I got her to sign this book. I still haven't read it yet, but from what I've heard, I really think I'm gonna love this story because it's like very angsty, right person, wrong time. Like the vibes I think are really there for something I would be interested in. So I cannot wait. And while I had her sign this one, I'm gonna have her sign another copy that I have. I think it was like, I don't know, this is like the 5th anniversary edition. The other one might be the 10th. I don't know. Anyway, I cannot wait to read this story. I'm doing an immersive read with this one. It's pretty thick, but yeah, I'm gonna take my time with it and get it done by the end of the month. Next is Darling Daffodil's Farm. This book sounds so cute. I love a cowboy romance, and it's just like a stunning book. So yeah, I'm gonna read this one. I'm hoping to do an immersive read with this one as well. Next is a book that's releasing this month. It's called In Stormy Weather. This one sounds so good. I've had my eye on this for a little while because one of my friends read this book as an ARC and like raved about it. So I'm excited to read this. I have it on pre-order, and yeah, I'm excited to read this one. And last for that event is Love Felt Like This by Julie Olivia. This is actually an arc. This book doesn't come out till September, I think, but I would love to read it before I meet her to like talk about this book because I think it'd be exciting. She wrote If It Makes You Happy, which I read last year. Fall 90s vibes. It was so good. I'm just so excited for this one. And then I have one more book that's an arc that I'm going to be finishing this month. Hot Girl Murder Club. I got the ARC and the ALC. I just started this one. I'm only a couple chapters in. I'm very excited because I haven't read an Ashley Winstead book before, and I've heard such good things, so I cannot wait. I also actually started Lonesome Dove. I think I'm only like 5% through. This is a chunker of a book. It's like 900 pages or something. But I might not finish this in July, and that's totally okay. This is a book that I want to savor and take my time with. I have the audio, so I'm doing an immersive read with this. And yeah, I really don't think I'm gonna finish it in July, but that's not really what I'm aiming for anyway. I really just want to savor it, like I said. Plus, I just have a lot of books to read in July, so I just don't think this is going to be one that gets priority, and that's okay. I want to try to read like a couple chapters at least once a week, just to work my way through it. Well, there you have it. That was long, a little yappy, but I hope you had a good time learning about the books I've read, what I'm reading. I just love chatting books with you all. It's so much fun. In the comments, let me know some of your favorite reads from June and what books you're excited to read in July. Thanks for watching, besties. I'll see you next time.